I am back in the fish room today, and everything is looking good. I was away for 3 weeks, and we've had no major issues so far. I found out that a lot of these Vietnamese white cloud mountain minnows have spawned for me, so I've got a lot of tiny little babies in that tank, which is very hard to see, but there's like a lot of them. I think there's got to be at least 20 of them, maybe even more, and I'm super happy about that. And then the fish in this tank, I thought they were 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀 babies, but once I got back from my trip, I could tell clearly what they were, and it turns out they are butterfly rainbow fish babies, so the 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. And at first I thought they were babies of these guys, but it turns out they are babies of this guy right here. He's really old now. He's a few years old and almost time is up for him, but you can see he's got a bent back, and the female sadly passed away due to age, so completely normal. They only have a few years lifespan, but I'm happy to see that we got babies out of them. We got a lot of babies out of them, so I'm really happy about that. It's really hard to see in there right now because it's a lot of algae, and that's what helped them survive this whole time. They were given a little bit of food. I didn't want my uncle to feed too much because it would make the water go bad. They have a lot of like beneficial bacteria, a lot of mulm, biofilm to feed on, so that is what helped, I think, and I'm really happy to say that we've got some babies in this fish room. And then the platies in here are also doing really well. We got a few babies from them as well. And I've moved my 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 into this tank. You can see one of the plecos just came out. They're starting to come out during the daytime more, which is really nice, but the 𝗲𝗀 rainbow fish, you can see a pair there. The male is really beautiful. The female, not much color, but still a beautiful fish. And I've been trying to get eggs out of them ever since I came back, and it has happened. So in here, it's really hard to tell again, but I've got a spawning mop, and there are a few tiny little babies swimming around in this little container. So I think you can see those tiny dots moving around. Those are 𝗂𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 babies, so I'm so happy to say that we are getting lots of fry in this fish room, and just really exciting stuff. And all the other tanks have been doing really well as well. This one up here has been struggling a bit with algae and some plants dying off, but I want to reset this tank in the near future. Some plants are doing well in here, but others not so much. The fish seem to be doing good. I just fed them, but they're always hungry. And these 4 tanks have had an auto timer while I was... These 3 tanks. This one doesn't have any fish in here, but yeah, this tank has been doing well too. There's no fish, but the plants are pearling like crazy. Look at this microsorum with all the bubbles, the pearling, the oxygen that they're producing. Really amazing stuff. The 𝗂𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 also looks really good in here. And then I've put in some other like random plants, like here's a Rotella rotundifolia. There's a 𝗲𝗾𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 in the back. They're not meant to be in here, but I just didn't have anywhere else to put them, so that's where they went. The other tanks, this tank I left the light off while I was away. No light, no CO2, but the nubias has been surviving. It doesn't die, but it doesn't like seem to grow a lot as well. And then the the terrarium, we're not putting water in this, but the terrarium, I have slowly started to plant this. I don't know if I can make a planting video on this because it's so hard to look for all the plants in one go. Gather plants just to plant this thing, because whenever I go to a fish store, I don't see much choices for terrarium paludarium plants. So whenever I see something I like, I'll get it and then I'll plant it in here. So it's like once every week or once every 2 weeks, like that. But it's mostly like ferns. I really want to put ferns in this tank, so that's what I'm trying to work with. And I do want to add some Bucephalandras and some mosses as well. So yeah, that's the plan with this tank. I'll definitely update you guys every once in a while. But that's how this is going right now. Right now, over here, we've got the mist kicking in. I love this mist system. It's very nice. The Nubius has also done well while I was away. But today I want to work on something else. So one of my DOOA Shizukus, it's an ADA product. This thing right here hasn't been doing too well. So I've got a cryptocorin in this little setup, but it hasn't been growing for me. Now the first time I set one of this up, I made a video about it, and it grew so well. The whole thing was covered with that cryptocorin, just propagated, and I was able to propagate and sell those off. But then I reset it. I wanted to fill it up with nutrient-rich soil again and restart. So I planted that one, but you can see it kind of hasn't grown much. It sent out runners, but it just hasn't been growing. And this is a different type of cryptocorin. So yeah, we're gonna take that out and try something different. And what I have is a Lagenandra Wabikusa. So I was at the fish store the other day and I saw this Wabikusa, also a product of ADA, and this is one of their Shizuku Lagenandra Wabikusas. They make it specifically for the Shizuku, and you can use it in two ways. You can simply just place it in there without putting any soil, or you can put soil and place it in there, which is what I'm going to do because I want it to spread and grow as much as it can. Alright, so I'm going to start by taking this old stuff out, and I think I can still use this cryptocorin. Like, it's not dead, so I'll probably put it in another setup and try to propagate it there. Wonder what was the problem with this setup. The root system was pretty good. Like, you can see all those roots, so it was growing pretty well, but I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't enough light. So yeah, we'll try again and hopefully it'll grow better next time. And then this one, I'm not so sure what the problem with this was, but I've had this for a few years now, like maybe 4 or 5 years, and it's been this size. I think it's just stunted. This is 𝗂𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀, and it should be a cryptocorin that gets quite big and large. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and wash this up, and we'll come back with a nice clean Shizuku. And just like that, we've got a nice, almost brand new glass pot Shizuku. So today I want to use a different soil, and it's called moist soil. It's made by Biochemia, a company that has recently been helping me out with a lot of their products, and I really enjoy using their products. So I've already actually used this bag. This is one of their new packaging, and there's a bit left in here. But they sent me a big bag of it too, and it's still a brand new product. They didn't have the packaging made for big bags, so they sent it to me in their nature soil package. So this is actually their aquarium soil that I use, but what's inside is the Paludarium terrarium soil. So it's a bit different, but we're going to be using that today. So let's open this. Let's finish this. So I'm just gonna pour this entire thing in. So what I like about this soil is that it's it's good for growing terrestrial, all these paludarium plants like cryptocorynes, anubias, lagenandras, aglaonemas. It's good for growing them immersed. And the soil, for aquarium soil, most of the pellet size, the size of the what do you call it? I call it pellets, but they're always like the same size. But this one has different size mixed. So there's some bigger grains with smaller grains, and I feel that the plant, the roots can grip better with different grain sizes. And also what I was told is that there is sand mixed in this. You can't really see it, but there's sand mixed in this, which helps with water drainage, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but you can kind of see there, a little bit different than your normal aqua soil. So this Lagenandra Wabikusa set me back 2,200 yen, which is roughly, I'm not sure how many US dollars, but if I'm talking about Singapore dollars, it's around $20, which may seem quite expensive, but for the amount of Lagenandras you have in this Shizuku and the size of this, I think it's okay. It's on the cheaper side. Some stores sell them for much more expensive. It depends on the store you go to. It's also mixed with some other type of plant. I'm not sure if it's Micranthemum Monte Carlo or Cuba, 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀𝘀. I don't know, it looks like Monte Carlo to me. But yeah, you can see it's a nice small Lagenandra. I believe it doesn't come with a name, the name tag, but I believe this is called Lagenandra nairi. It's a smaller type of Lagenandra with small green leaves, as you can tell here. But the other type would be Lagenandra 𝗲𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀, which looks almost identical to this, but the leaves get much bigger. So I'm hoping that this doesn't get bigger than this. I think it'll stay small, since it's made for the Shizuku. And then there's also Lagenandra 𝗲𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀 red, but you can clearly tell that this is not red. And then there's a few other types, like Lagenandra watermelon, with some cool, unique watermelon-like patterns on the leaves. And then there's Lagenandras which have thin leaves. So there's a lot of types of Lagenandra that's being sold now. So Wabikusa is basically a ball. I'm not exactly sure what it's made of, but it's a ball, and inside this ball there's some like substrate or some fertilizers, I'm not sure. It's a mix of things inside this ball that the roots can tap into and grow out of there. So you can actually place this on its own and it'll grow slowly. But if you want it to grow faster and more vigorously, then you should put soil around it, or you can plant this in soil even, and it'll grow. But so this is the Shizuku Wabikusa. ADA makes a lot of types of Wabikusa, and you can see this fits perfectly through the hole, the opening there. But it's really tough to do this with one hand, so let me put you guys down for a second. You can see a new leaf right there. Very cute. Should I just drop it? Oops. Alright. Alright, that didn't go as planned. Alright, so I'm just gonna like gently push it into the substrate a bit, and then we'll put more substrate around that. If you're making yourselves one of these, try not to just drop the Wabikusa like I did. I might have damaged a leaf or two there. So now I'm just evening out the soil letting it, I want to merge it with the Wabikusa as naturally as possible, blend it in to the soil. And then once that's done, I'll probably fill this up with some water and also clean up the sides of the glass, the edge, and some of the leaves. You can see some soil on the leaf, so we'll clean that up now. Alright, so there it is. I've decided to place it under this light and hopefully it'll grow for us. I will give it a spray down right now. And the cool thing about the Shizuku, if you didn't know, it has a hole, a tiny little hole in the lid right there. And that is so that you can pour water in this lid and you can have this water droplet effect. That's basically what Shizuku means in Japanese when you translate it to English. It's a water droplet. So you pour some water in the lid, and just like that, you can have this nice water drop effect. So I'm really hoping that the plant is Lagenandra nairi, but there's a chance it may be Lagenandra 𝗲𝗂𝗀𝗀𝘀, or maybe even something else. I'm not entirely sure. If there's any experts out there, be sure to comment it down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.